Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Brian Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we sit down with Dalton Henry from Kansas Wheat to talk about the supplemental coverage option. Inside Kansas Ag has Kansas Soybean discussing the Soybean Quality Toolbox, and Farm Bureau updates us on the Ditch the Rule campaign. And in news you need to know, we have our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association. We'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. At the second annual Soy Checkoff funded U.S. Global Trade Exchange, buyers from China agreed to buy $2.3 billion of U.S. soy, totaling 176 million bushels. This event has generated significant export sales in the last 2 years. U.S. soybean farmers exported more than 1.7 billion bushels of U.S. soy this past marketing year, with a record-setting value of $28 billion. Senate Resolution 544 designates 2014 as the International Year of Family Farming. Family farming clearly plays a major role in today's economy and will continue to play a key role for those living in developing nations, said National Farmers Union President Roger Johnson. Agriculture contributes more than $130 billion to the U.S. economy, employs 14% of the total U.S. workforce, and 45% of individuals around the world make their living from farming. The Food and Agricultural Policy Research Institute has adjusted down price projections from what they issued last month. The lower prices are based on new USDA estimates, suggesting the 2014 U.S. corn and soybean crops are considerably larger than previously thought. Corn's price dropped from $3.89 down to $3.50 per bushel. Soybeans price projection is now at $9.92 a bushel, down from $10.30 projected in late August. And in local news, Kansas feedlots with 1,000 or more head contain 1.95 million cattle on feed as of September 1st. This inventory was down 2% from last year. Placements during August totaled 410,000 head, up 8% from 2013. Fed cattle marketings for the month of August totaled 345,000 head, down 12% from last year. This is the lowest August marketing since the series began in 1994. At least 13 lawsuits filed against St. Louis-based Monsanto have been consolidated here in Kansas. Suits were brought against Monsanto after the discovery of genetically engineered Monsanto wheat in an Oregon field in May of 2013. An order filed in federal court in Kansas gives the parties in the lawsuits until October 27th to file a joint report on efforts to resolve the case. $3.8 million in conservation funding has been allocated to approximately 18 projects statewide in Kansas to help landowners protect and restore 4,800 acres of prime farmland, grassland, and wetlands. The projects will help to improve water quality, to provide habitat to threatened species, and to protect prime agricultural lands that are under high risk of development from non-agricultural use. Visit nrcs.usda.gov/get started to learn more. Up next in our Ag Feature, we sit down with Dalton Henry from Kansas Wheat to talk about the supplemental coverage option. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned. If you'd like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call at 785-554-5974.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com.
A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
American innovation is being driven in places you might not expect by people like Brent Hayek, an Oklahoma family farmer, who recently set a world land speed record in a Ford Super Duty pickup truck powered by renewable B20 biodiesel. Advanced performance is here, now, putting America on the fast track to more jobs and energy independence. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.
At Ag Risk Solutions, we have been helping our clients make better crop insurance decisions since 1981. We always focus on helping you find the best coverage options for your farm, and it will give you peace of mind knowing you have a partner you can trust. To learn more about our agency, please visit our website, like us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter. Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution.
Ag Risk Solutions is an equal opportunity provider.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
Today we're joined by Dalton Henry, Government Affairs Director for Kansas Wheat, and we're going to talk a little bit about implementation of the Farm Bill coming into fall. Dalton, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me on.
We've got a couple of days that some wheat farmers really need to make a decision on some coverage.
They really do, and so of course 2014 Farm Bill passed several months ago, and we're finally getting around to implementation, and wheat growers actually coming up on some deadlines here for making a decision. And that particular decision we're talking about is if producers are interested in the new crop insurance-based supplemental coverage option. They're going to need to be signing up for that by September 30th, which is their traditional crop insurance sales closing date.
Which is in just a couple of days from this airing date. So SCO, walk us kind of through that. What does that mean for a wheat farmer?
So SCO, or the supplemental coverage option, is designed as an add-on to a producer's existing crop insurance. So it's a shallow loss program, so it's going to protect against revenue losses that are deep enough to cause a loss to producers' profitability, but at the same time aren't so deep or so severe that they're going to cause or trigger a traditional crop insurance program indemnity payment. So it's going to try to cover a band of revenue from the producer's underlying coverage, probably somewhere around 70 or 75% for most of our wheat growers in Kansas, up to a high of 86%, and that's stacked in law. So it's a fairly narrow band, and it's going to cover specifically at the county level. So it has to be a county level loss.
And when we talk about county level losses, they're going to have to get that information before they fill out their application for SCO.
Yeah, and so the USDA's Risk Management Agency has actually developed a web-based tool that's really pretty effective at being able to allow a producer to look at their individual county, look at what that history is, so essentially what your guarantee is going to be, and then also look at what kind of a county level it would take to trigger those payments. And that gives a producer a really good idea just what level of risk or what kind of risk this program's attempting to cover.
Well, the last couple of years, would have been a great program to use for wheat farmers here in Kansas.
It really would have been, because I think that we looked at two things over the last several years. Most of our losses were pretty large areas, and so we saw these kinds of county level losses. And also when we look at multiple years of losses, our crop insurance coverage declines each year at the individual level. And so by being able to place a shallow loss program above that underlying policy, it can improve and tighten the holes in that safety net for producers. So definitely something to consider, something to talk with crop insurance agents about.
Well, we want to remind everybody that the 30th, which is a short 2 or 3 days away from this air date, that you got to get that filled out. We're going to be back in just a minute, and we'll spend some more time with Dalton.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
We're joined today by Dalton Henry, who is the Government Affairs Director for the Kansas Wheat, and we're talking implementation of the Farm Bill and the insurance programs that go along with that. Dalton, as we move into late fall, coming into winter, we've got some decisions to make on ARC and PLC, but the SCO program also kind of plays into those. Tell us about that.
It really does. And so what producers are looking at is really a whole new set of farm programs in this new Farm Bill, and they are going to have to make a choice. And I think one thing that we've noticed is about this bill is that the programs are more complicated in the formulas that they operate on, and that decision is going to be more complicated for producers because they're essentially going to be tasked with a choice between price loss coverage, or PLC, which is essentially a new target price program with updated prices, and ARC, which is ag risk coverage, or what we would oftentimes call the ARC program. An ARC is a very similar program to the crop insurance-based supplemental coverage option that we were just talking about earlier. And so there's actually going to be a prohibition. You can't enroll in both ARC and SCO. And so knowing that the timeline these decisions are on right now is a little bit challenging, especially for winter wheat producers. With the SCO deadline just a few days away, the RMA will actually let a producer opt out of that supplemental coverage option insurance by December 15th if later on in a couple of months they've decided that they want to enroll in the ag risk coverage.
And producers should have gotten a letter with their acreage and all that other stuff. So, I mean, they kind of have an idea of where they're at right now.
Yep, and that letter from the FSA, Farm Service Agency, is really very specific to that ag risk coverage and price loss coverage programs. And so that's a great point that you bring up, is that those programs are going to be, and they're going to make payments, and they're going to be based on base acres, not currently planted acres, not current yields. And so that initial letter from the Farm Service Agency should have let producers know what the FSA had in their records for existing base acres and existing yields. There will be provisions to update those, and so producers should be looking for those details to be forthcoming here in the next couple of months.
And when you say payments, we want to remind everybody, direct payments were taken out of the new Farm Bill, so it's all insurance-based now.
It really is, or something very similar to an insurance program. And so whereas direct payments are gone, the old counter-cyclical program is gone, we're looking at programs that are going to pay substantially less frequently. Whereas we always said direct payments were something that was bankable because you knew it was coming, you knew how much was coming. It was something you could use as collateral if need be. And so that's not something that we have there anymore. As we look back historically, when would these programs have triggered? It's maybe once every 7 years or once every 8 years. And the idea being that these programs are really only going to pay when a producer experiences a substantial loss.
Well, it sounds like producers have a lot more decisions to make coming into the fall and winter. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in just a minute.
As farmers watch the soybean crop mature and estimate yields, they also might start thinking about which varieties they will plant next year. The Now is a free tool from the Soybean Checkoff that shows how different varieties can affect demand for their soybeans. The Checkoff's Soybean Quality Toolbox, located at growsoybeanvalue.com on the web, calculates soybeans' estimated processed value. That metric is based on oil and protein contents. Those components drive soybean demand and the price farmers receive. Soybeans with greater oil and protein contents are in greater demand, and better demand can lead to a higher price. If farmers across an entire region consistently select higher quality varieties, yielding more valuable components, relative demand for the soybeans from that area will improve and the price those farmers receive should increase. Finding varieties that will produce higher value is just 4 steps away with the Soybean Quality Toolbox. 1. Specify the data source, harvest year, and test plot that is most representative. 2. Use the filters to identify the type, brand, and variety to be highlighted in the comparison. 3. Set the prices based on current market expectations. And 4. Choose how to display the data. Learn more about the Soybean Quality Toolbox via kansassoybeans.org/research on the web.
There is some new information regarding the proposed rule that the Army Corps of Engineers and EPA released regarding waters of the United States. These maps, recently released, show the EPA jurisdiction of waters currently under federal control in Kansas and what the waters under federal control would be after the proposed rule goes final. As you can see, this is a dramatic change. Agricultural organizations, home builders, municipalities, and road crews aren't the only ones who agree that this rule must be ditched. Members of the National Association of State Departments of Agriculture, or NASDA, unanimously called on the EPA and Army Corps of Engineers to withdraw the proposed Waters of the United States rule during their annual meeting. NASDA CEO Dr. Barbara Glenn said, "As it stands, the proposed rule dramatically expands EPA's jurisdiction and creates too much uncertainty for our farmers and ranchers. This rule must be withdrawn. It is critical that the agencies engage state regulators and stakeholders to work together to find a path forward before the agencies move towards implementation or further rulemaking. We could not agree more. The proposed rule does not reflect the intent of Congress when it passed the Clean Water Act, and it does not reflect the limits placed on the agencies by 2 recent Supreme Court cases. We must ditch this rule."
You can find us on the web at kansasAGreport.com and make sure to like us on Facebook.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second to none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
This hog is Hanover hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Dick Edwards is taking North Central Kansas by storm. We've been bending over backwards to exceed your car buying experience for over 30 years. Choose from one of our 9 different new car brands or from our second-to-none used selection. Currently, with over 700 vehicles to choose from, we definitely have the one for you. Whether you're coming from the north, south, east, or west, our sales and service departments will work tirelessly to do what's right for you. Dick Edwards in Manhattan and Junction City, bending over backwards for you.
Since 1983, the Hydrobed has been utilized on cattle operations throughout North America. The Hydrobed equips your 3/4 or 1-ton truck for hay handling and feeding. Variable speed cable controls or the optional wireless remote enable you to haul, transport, and unroll 2 round bales weighing up to 3,000 pounds each. A mechanical free float automatically compensates for uneven ground and out of round bales, isolating you and the truck from impact of bale unrolling. To find out how the Hydrobed can improve your feeding efficiency, call or visit us on the web at triple-c-inc.com.
The Kansas Junior Livestock Show featured stiff competition as 715 exhibitors from 89 counties brought 1,428 animals to Wichita September 19th through the 22nd. A 1,322-pound Maine Anjou shown by Bailey Worth of Ellis earned Grand Champion Steer honors. Her steer was purchased by Coonrod Construction, Elanco Animal Health, Ford County Feed Yard, Kansas Feeds, Jim Maddox State Farm Agency, State Farm Foundation, Dodge City Veterinary Clinic, and Micro for $11,552 during the Auction of Champions. Abby Lillard of Talmadge guided her 285-pound dark crossbred to the Grand Champion Market Hog title. Sow Corporation of Wichita paid $6,375 for her entry. Shiloh Shockey of Westmoreland exhibited the Grand Champion Market Lamb, a 140-pound crossbred that brought $4,114 from Farm Bureau Financial Services. Jillian Keller of Pickway received Grand Champion honors with her entry in the Meat Goat Show. The Grand Champion goat weighed 81 pounds and was worth $2,070 to Friends of Hugh Nix. Prior to the Auction of Champions, the Kansas Junior Livestock Show presented $20,100 in scholarships to 13 exhibitors. The Kansas Livestock Association is a major sponsor of the show, as are Kansas State University and the Wichita Agribusiness Council.
Good morning. I'm Eric Osterhaus with Paragon Ag Advisors. The corn harvest is now in full swing, albeit at a slower than average pace due to maturity issues in some areas, as well as cooler temps slowing down the drying process. Farmer selling has picked up, it seems, especially for those bushels being picked that were above expectations. Many farmers appear reluctant to pay storage costs at these prices and are selling these bushels across the scale. The USDA has the corn harvest running behind the 5-year average by about 5%, although the outlook over the next 6 to 10 days does look favorable for this pace to pick up. The crop appears to be large, and it appears as if it will continue to grow. The corn market is solidly in a supply mode, and it may take a little time for the harvest low to appear. Wheat has also been drifting lower as world supply is adequate and the market is looking to the corn and soybean markets for its short-term direction. Without a world event or a planning delay issue here in the U.S., it looks like a follower for now. A little under 30% of the soybean crop is estimated to be dropping leaves, and this is running roughly 8% behind the 5-year average. The early stages of soybean harvest are uncovering some record large yields. While demand is starting to pick up, the harvest lows do not usually show up until the first week of October. Due to the delay in harvest, however, that low might be several weeks behind normal. If you have questions on these markets or any markets, please call Paragon Ag Advisors at 888-452-8751. Have a productive week.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Hallman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.